to the cloud. And I can always edit this beginning part out.
That's good.
Um, let's just let people in now, and then we can just play the music and let them know we'll be right with them.
Sounds good.
And you can cut the music off whenever you want. It's really long, so you'll have to just cut it off.
All right, whenever you're ready to start.
Okay. Okay, thanks, DJ Angela Lynn. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for being here and for joining us for today's Suggested Matches overview. My name is Courtney Thron, Ingenuity's Director of Partnerships and Learning, and I'm also joined here by today's facilitator, Angela Lynn, Ingenuity's Director of Data and Research. Looks like we see some familiar faces out there. That's great. We know that it takes a lot for you to all join us on an evening. We know that your days are full with so much, and we appreciate you being here. We're super excited to bring arts organizations and arts liaisons together today to talk a little bit about how you can use Ingenuity's new suggested matches notification feature to more easily and effectively find your ideal arts education partner match. So we'll get into that more in just a little bit, but first we wanted to start off with the land acknowledgement. And we'd like to acknowledge that this virtual classroom is taking place on the stolen land of the Council of Three Fires, the Ojibwe, Potawatomi, and Odawa nations. And because the Great Lakes, the land became a site for travel, for healing, trade, and gathering for more than a dozen other Native tribes, and it's still home to over 100,000 tribal members in the state of Illinois that have stewarded this land throughout generations and are still practicing their traditions and caring for the land today.
So as we begin this program, let's honor these ancestral grounds that we're on and support the resilience, strength, and leadership that all Indigenous people have shown worldwide. And let us also begin to rethink our own relationship with the land and its original.
Just a few housekeeping items here. If you would like, please feel free to update your name and include your personal pronouns in your organization, once again, if you would like. Please note that this session will be recorded, and we will be sharing recordings with you most likely in a couple of weeks. Closed captioning is also available to access. If you just go to the bottom of your screen, click the More button, it'll give you caption settings, and you just want to make captions visible. If possible, please have a device available that you can use to access your artlook account in today's session. If you don't have access to your account today, no worries. You can still participate and it'll still be fine, but it's just a nice plus. Okay, so why suggested matches? Why are we all here today? So many of us are aware at this point that arts partnerships within CPS have taken a bit of a nosedive during the pandemic. On average, there were 3.7 fewer partnerships in schools and almost half the number of arts partners working in schools since that 2018-2019 school year. We know that there are a multitude of reasons for that. One of the reasons that's emerged has been just challenges in communication and maintaining relationships with one another, especially because there's been a considerable amount of turnover in the sector over the last couple of years on both the organizational side and the teacher side of the ecosystem. So in some ways, this is really fertile ground for new partnerships, and we're hoping to see those numbers increase as we start to gather the data from this last school year. But we're not just going to abandon you and wish you good luck. We're also strengthening our tools to make connection easier for you. So artlook has long been touted as a matchmaking platform for schools and arts organizations, but we've heard from you all over the past couple of years that finding partners on artlook can be super time consuming and you're not always sure where to begin, and there's so many potential options, and you're all super busy, and we know that you don't always have time to use artlook in all the ways that we've necessarily intended it to be used for. Sometimes you're also unclear about how to find matches or what criteria you should consider when looking for a match. And then sometimes when you found a partner match that or someone that seems like a good fit on the platform, and let's say you reach out and then for whatever reason, maybe they're not available and they just don't have the capacity at that time to take on another partnership. But with the suggested matches notification, we are taking out some of that guesswork and that time that it takes you to find matches by elevating potential matches based on information that you already have indicated in your artlook profiles. So things such as subdiscipline and program type offerings, as well as interest. So there will be just a few steps to take, and you'll start to receive those notifications and the top available matches to you on the artlook platform. And we'll get into that today. And Angela's going to do a live drive and show you how you can get that started. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to Angela to bring us through the agenda and then get started with more details on how you can make those changes and updates to your profile to get suggested matches started.
Thank you, Courtney. Okay, so if I haven't met you before, I'm also, along with my colleague Christine Ain, who I think is also in the audience today. We are behind that artlook at ingenuity-inc.org email address. And generally speaking, we help maintain the platform and do a lot of the backend stuff here. So anyways, if you've been to one of our sessions before, you might notice the agenda is a lot shorter today. We're really trying to focus in on this new feature and get you in and out within an hour. And so we're going to do a quick introduction to artlook. If you are less familiar, we'll just do a quick background item on it, and then we'll jump right into that new suggested matches feature, how you can use it, how to really join in on the action, and then Courtney also will be sharing like what should you do with your suggested matches. All of that, we also have new features we'd also like to elevate along with this. We've been doing some other smaller items along with suggested matches based on feedback. Of course, then we have some time dedicated for questions from all of you. And then we do have that connection activity. We're so happy to see all of you joining today. And so without further ado, we'll keep moving. We are going to jump into a pretty brief artlook introduction. So hopefully you all have heard of artlook and that's why you're joining here today. If not, also, I would also suggest we have some materials from our Artlook 101 session, and we have been hosting them continuously throughout the year. So if you are less familiar with the platform, we can send more information at another time, and also it's available on our website and YouTube channel. All that, just a quick recap on what Artlook is. It is a data sharing platform that allows communities to really work collaboratively and strategically to deliver high quality arts education experiences for in Ingenuity's mission, every child in every grade in every CPS school. So there's 3 parts of artlook, and we will also be doing a live drive on what's related to suggested matches. And so we have the public facing map that is at chicago.artlookmap.com. This is where anyone, including those who are not an arts liaison or not an arts organization, can still look at this public facing map to see arts offerings across the district and across the sector. So there's that public facing map, and then there's 2 other items. We have the school portal and partner portal, where arts liaisons and arts organizations can log into and update your own information. So who should have an account on Artlook? Hopefully all of you, though at the break or on a one-off, we can also help address any questions about Artlook account creation. And so that's a quick summary of Artlook. And so here now we have 2 pages with a lot of text. I will just be doing the live drive here. This will be sent as a PDF in case you need to refer to it for how to recover your login. And so we have 1 page here for arts partners and 1 page here for schools. I'm instead just going to do a live drive. So again, if you want to go to chicago.artlookmap.com, this is that public facing page. And if hopefully you all have logged in before, if not, you can have 2 options here. If you're a school, you're going to click schools login. If you're an arts organization, you're going to click partner login. I'll first demo the school side. And so this is just a quick recap on how to log in or how to recover your password. So if you are with a CPS school, then you have 2 options. If your email address ends with @cps.edu, you can actually use sign in with CPS and use your CPS credential. So you don't need a separate Artlook password and you don't need to type in your school. So you have that option if your email address ends with @cps.edu. If you don't have an email address that ends with cps.edu, you do still have the option to sign in with email. And so if you click here, you would have to enter your school name, email address, and password. If you don't remember your password, there's this forgot password workflow that is pretty similar for both arts organizations and schools. Essentially click it, put in your email address, and you will receive an email, most likely in junk or spam, from the platform itself asking you to update or reset your password. Once you do that, we'll go back to this chicago.artlookmap.com page, go back to school login, enter your credentials, and you're able to access your school's profile. So the partner side is very similar. I'm going to click partner login now. And so here you have the option to type in your organization or teaching artist name, your email address, and the password again to access your organization's profile. We also have the same forgot password workflow. If you click it, enter in your email, check your spam, there will be steps on how you can reset your password. And the one thing I will note, if you're unsure whether you have an account or you know you don't have one, you can email us and we can help set you up. And I'm saying that because if you enter your email address, but you actually don't have an account with Artlook, you will not receive a password reset email. And so it will be just checking in with Christine or I at artlook@ingenuity-inc.org email address, and we can quickly get you set up. So that is going to be the summary of pretty much these 2 long pages with text that we'll still include as reference. And so now getting away from those logistics, we're actually going to jump in to suggested matches itself. And so again, Courtney has really shared a lot of the context of why we want to do this. And so now this brings us to, this has been I would say it's been over a year of this work, I want to say. I see Courtney nodding. I was like, I remember having this conversation at least in January, if honestly not before January, about how we can get this all to come together and really help you all form connections more easily. And so here are the steps. I will also do a live drive on this. It's honestly pretty simple. There's really 3 key items here, and I'll summarize them here right now. It's toggling yes, which is a indicator that you're currently actively looking for partnerships. Number 2, update your contact information. This is what people would be using when they receive, if you are matched, they will be reaching out to that primary contact you have listed. So if it's out of date, you will not be getting additional emails about someone reaching out to you about the match. And third, if you're an arts partner, you're going to be updating, adding your programs. If you're a school, you'll be updating your interests. And the key items you're seeing bold is that sub-discipline and program type. Essentially, suggested matches, we're trying to match arts organizations' programmatic offerings to what schools have stated they're interested in on their Artlook profiles. And so we're matching based on the sub-disciplines that you've listed and the program type you've listed, either in your interests or the programs you offer. And after you are essentially updating your information, within a day, the algorithm will run and you'll receive an in-app notification. And then depending on your subscriber preferences, you'll also receive an email with a list of these suggested matches. And the key thing also is that it's not just a one-time thing. If a new arts organization comes in and updates their programs, and you, as a school, your interests match those programs, you'll receive another notification about that new match. And the same as vice versa. If a new school were to come in and update their information, and now your program as an arts organization matches their interests, you will also receive that new notification. And so let's show you how to first update these items, and I'll show you also what these notifications look like. So again, it's pretty simple. I'm going to sign into a few. We have some dummy accounts set up on the back end. That first page you saw, you never really need to look into. So we've done this beforehand. And I have created here, my colleague is Christine. We've created Christine's arts organization here. And this profile is what it would look like to you as an arts organization signing in. So first I'm going to demo this arts partner side, and then I'll demo the school side. Though again, they look very, very similar. So if you're an arts partner, again, we have 3 items: contacts, toggling, and program. So I went to your Artlook map profile here. You can see I just have Christine's arts organization. And number 1, update that contact information. It's pretty simple. And be sure to, for sure, update that education contact. This is also the same individual that shows up on your public-facing map profile. And so here, once you put that in, just click save. The other item we need you, if you are actually currently looking for partnerships, please come into this section. This was launched, I want to say, February of this calendar year. And you just have to toggle yes or no. To be part of suggested matches, our goal is to really match organizations that are actively looking for partnerships to schools actively looking for partnerships. So of course, we would love for you to be truthful. If it is no, then it's no, which is fine. You will not be receiving suggested matches. But if you are actively looking for partnerships, which I hope most of you are today, which is why you're joining, then you would just click yes here. And you can see here, it's that simple toggle, and you click yes. So this is what we've been calling the toggles. Just, are you currently actively looking for partnerships? And then finally, it's updating your program. So right now, I don't have any programs listed. For each program, there's a number of options or a number of items you can add about the program you offer. And this is super important because your programs would be matched to a school's interests. And so here, highlighting again the two sections, of course, it's really important to include a description, a name, so that schools can get a better understanding of what it is that you're offering. But I would highlight again, it's very important to fill out one, program types. And you can see the options here. This is whether or not that program is a field trip, a performance, a residency, etc. And then also below here, there's a lot of options, but we do have those sub-disciplines. And it's important to pick exactly which sub-disciplines apply to that program. And so that again is just a pretty quick, it's honestly, hopefully doesn't take too long. And those are the three things you need to do. So contacts, toggle, and add your programs in. So now I'm going to flip over to the school side. So we have another account here, School of Ingenuity I've set up for our colleague Steve, who I've gotten permission to use his account today too. So at the School of Ingenuity, I'll just do a quick description to what you see. If you are an arts teacher, you will have this extra tab of artlook Educator. That is a forum for you to connect with other arts teachers across the district. We will not be focusing in on that today. But again, if you have any questions, you can message me privately or through that email address too, artlook@ingenuity-inc.org. And so we're going to be focusing today on the school tab. And this is where you access your school's profile. And also, if you have filled out the Creative Schools survey earlier this year, this is also where you filled out that survey. And so where you would update the information is very similar to partners. You would see this artlook map profile section. And so clicking on that here, instead of having essentially what they call an education contact, we have, of course, the arts liaison. And so here, please make sure this information is up to date. This is the contact information that arts organizations would be reaching out to and that they see on your school profile. And so over here, it's a quick update. And this second two items here, the second of the three items here is going to be toggling. And so it's the same exact, almost same exact wording as what partners see. And it's whether or not you're currently looking for partnerships. Again, it's a pretty simple toggling yes and no. And here, hopefully most of you are looking for partnerships and toggle yes. The next part is going to be an interest. And matching to what partner programs I was just showing on the partner live demonstration, you would be filling out what you're interested in. Of course, the more information included on your profile is more helpful for arts organizations when they're actually looking at your school. And so of course, it's still important to fill out, for example, like what resources you're interested in and maybe a text about what your school is interested in. However, the two things that again, I want to highlight is the type of partner programs that you're interested in. This is, for example, again, field trip, professional development, resources. And then also here, you will be listing out which sub-disciplines for these 6 main disciplines that your school is currently interested in for this school year. So those are the 3 items. They're pretty similar for partner organization schools. And honestly, that's all you need to do to get yourself set up for suggested matches. And so now, just going back to the slide, this is that quick same 3 steps really about how to get matched. And then you would essentially just have to wait. And so the next day, you will hopefully receive an email and in-app notification. And I'm just going to show you a preview on what that looks like. So here you'll see there's some in-app notifications on the right with what you've seen probably a lot of other social media platforms. There's that bell that you can open up and look at notifications. And what pairs with that is also an email notification. And so that email here, you can see in this example too, would list out your matches. And so I'm going to demo that again. Let's start with the partner side. I'm going to close those tabs here and do it one more time. So I've already updated this prior to the session so we could see my matches. So I'm right now at Christine's art organization. And so you see I already have my matches available. I already logged in and did this a little bit earlier. But this is a demo of what you would be seeing if you logged in about your notifications. So you can see here, based on the items that I listed for my programs, then I have now see Carnegie Elementary School's shared interests that match my programs on artlook, and also Haynes Elementary. And you can see here which schools have matched. And if you were to click on them, let's look at Carnegie, you would be brought to that public facing profile page. And this is why, again, that contact is super important. I would be essentially reaching out to the arts liaison here at the school listed on this profile. And what would be super useful then is you can look through that school and see more information about what they're interested in, perhaps more on why if they filled out that question. And again, you can go to a prior school year and see, for example, if I look down here, like what arts instructors were at that school, what disciplines did they teach, what, if you look down here, what courses were taught and how many students were enrolled in these courses. And so this notification you receive about that suggested match, that we've done that pre-work for you, brings you to that page where you can look a little bit further and see if that school indeed is a good match for your program. And so all these are clickable. You'll receive these in-app, you see here with the bell. I also want to point out that's the first time we really have notifications on this artlook main school and partner side. And so you do also have this gear icon for both schools and partners where you can change your preferences. And so right now it should be daily unless you've already gone in and updated it. But this would be how often you get that email notification, which also includes information about your matches. And so you have the options of immediate, daily, weekly, or never. And so hopefully you're not choosing never, because then you wouldn't see your suggested matches notifications. But here, right now I'm on daily, and this is what has generated. And so the school side is very similar. I'll hop to the school side now. And so at the School of Ingenuity, I also again have already updated our interests for program type and subdiscipline. And here I have 8 organizational matches. And so that again means that they toggled yes, their program offerings have matched what I've listed as interest, as my school being interested in. And very similarly, you can click here. The red means you have not clicked on your notification or mark these as READ red. And so if I click here, I could hop to, I saw that Auditorium Theater has been listed as a good match for Ingenuity School. And I can go to the organization's profile and take a closer look at exactly what programs they offer and getting more information about that description or what potentially qualities and intended outcomes, financial support is offered for each of these programs. And so here, this is what that arts organization public facing profile looks like if you haven't seen one before. And so the final piece of it all, so this is what it looks like when you log in. These are these suggested matches. There's one more piece I'm gonna have to change my screen here. Bear with me. If you opted into, for example, daily notifications, you should see here, this is one example that I've done prior to this as a demo. You'd be receiving also an email. And within this email, you won't see it when I click it here, I don't think, but essentially opens up a new tab where I can look at the School of Ingenuity's profile and brings you straight there if you want to take a closer look at what they have listed on their profile. And so this would be an automatically generated email. And again, it's not a one-time thing. If you ever have a new match, either a school's updated their interests or added their new interests, or an arts organization's updated or added their programs, you would be receiving a new notification email for each of these matches. And so it's really important also to keep your profile up to date so that your matches are as accurate as precise as we can be. So let me go back to sharing the other screen I have here. Back to the presentation. All right, are there any questions so far actually about suggested matches before I pass to Courtney, who will go more in depth on what to do with your matches?
Yes, I do have a question.
Go ahead, Crystal, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you. Hello. I have one arts partnership that I cannot remove. And it should not be on there. Did not have an arts partnership with the organization last year. And so is that a sample of something, or should that be something that's reflective of our school's experience last year, 2021, 22, and presently? So I tried to click as I'm on another computer and add on arts partnerships for this year. And I pushed save and it went right back to what was there before. And that also occurred when I was doing the survey. So,
oh, go ahead.
I apologize. No, you go ahead.
Oh no, let me take a look on that. I can check during the break actually for you. I'm not super sure why that's happening, but I can take a look at your profile during the break actually, and then take a look into what's going on with your profile.
Okay, and if you need me to contact you when it's just you and I could talk about it, I can do that. So I won't a lot of the time. I don't mind doing that.
Thank you, Crystal. And then to your first question, it should be reflective of not a sample, like it should be actually what partnerships you do have. So I appreciate you're trying to update it, and I can look into, for whatever reason, it looks like it's not updating as you want it to.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. Are there any other questions right now? All right, okay, I'll pass to Courtney then on what to do next.
Okay. So Angela, you have covered a little bit already, but so you get your list of arts organizations or schools via your notifications on your email. And then what do you do next, right? Like you definitely don't want to go in and just email everyone that you got right away. I mean, you could, but I don't think that's necessarily best connection practice. We definitely also have just some new arts partners, some new teachers who may not always know what the next steps are, or maybe what some of those best connection practices might be. So we do have a partnership guide that I'm going to share with you in the chat, first of all. And we've had it for a while. It's just been revamped a little bit to update some of the resources. But I'm going to just highlight a few elements from that guide. So first, know before you go. And this is the point that Angela touched on a little bit already. But this essentially means just do a little bit of research or legwork before reaching out to either the school or the arts organization, if you're the one that's thinking about reaching out. And maybe look to see what some of those alignments are on the profile. So like Angela showed you, you can, once you get the match, you can click into their profile and just take a look at what some of those alignments were, what you might want to elevate to that partner, that potential match when you reach out to them. And also see if there are any other important items on their profile that might be essential to bring up, or other alignments that might be on, beyond subdiscipline or beyond program type. Think about the mission, the vision, the different learning alignments, other partners that they've had in the past. And just take a little bit of a deep dive into their profile. And then determine your own capacity before reaching out, just making sure that you're really available and you have the space to make that partnership happen. That's know before you go, just doing a little bit of due diligence and research before reaching out, right? And then once you do reach out, you have a conversation, you can send a message directly through artlook. I think Angela may have showed you that before. And you can tell the school or the organization why you're reaching out. Once again, elevate some of those alignments. You can even say that you matched, you got a notification. And then be prepared to talk about, if you are an arts organization, be prepared to talk about the program that you'd like to elevate. And if you're a school and you're reaching out, be prepared to talk about what some of your school's needs and interests are, and really elevate those to either the partner or the school. And then if all goes well with that initial conversation, you can work it out together and make a plan. So hopefully things gel, and then you can start talking about the more granular details, right? So partnership length, the budget, the goals and outcomes, the timeline. You want to make sure to get very clear. And then once you have a plan, you go ahead, make it happen, get into implementation mode. And you really, during this time, want to make sure that you're keeping communication going. So it's not just this initial communication or the couple of times at the beginning, but really making sure to keep open lines of communication throughout the partnership, build in those check-in points in your timeline, and help evaluate and revisit the process. And then finally, reflection and evaluation. Schedule a postmortem, discuss the partnership, the process, the student outcomes, the shared learnings, where there might be room for growth if you're considering doing the partnership again. And so this is just a quick little snapshot preview of the guide that I dropped into the chat for you. But please take a look at that. I think it's super helpful just consider a few things before initiating a partnership, and so that you're setting yourselves up for success. I know some of you have been doing this for a long time and may already know it, but it's not a bad idea to just refresh. And for those of you who are new, this is a really helpful guide. Okay,
Got it. Thank you, Courtney. And then I think you just mentioned right at the beginning, just to show again like where that information shows up for you to start reaching out and start doing all these steps that Courtney has listed. So for example, like either in that email shoot, you can click a link and they'll bring you to the school profile. So for example, here again, when you receive a notification, whether in app or in that email, you click it. Courtney's also talking about like the main primary contact that's listed here and clicking contact partner or contact, I think it will be called contact arts liaison for the school side and clicking it, and that would give you an email to send out and reach out to your suggested match. All right, Courtney, do you want to take on the update time?
Update time, yeah. We're just gonna take a few minutes and you all can go ahead into your profiles. If you haven't already, make sure to toggle and make sure that you are saying yes if you're ready to make some connections on your profiles, and then make sure to update those if you are a arts organization, your program area, your subdiscipline, the type, program type. And then if you're a school, make sure to update your interest. So we're gonna give just a few minutes for that. Let's do 5 minutes, and then we'll come back, and then we'll jump into connection mode.
everyone. Okay, hope you had some time to hopefully make some of those quick changes to your profile. Of course, if not, you can come back to it at a later time, and we're always available to help answer any questions. Okay, so we're actually going to move into the next part of our session, and we're just going to do a brief overview of some other new features we have been rolling out that have actually already been rolled out. And so to do a quick summary, these have been generally smaller than the suggested matches. We really also want to show that we are continuously trying to improve this platform and hearing your feedback. And that first one that's listed on here, we've heard from a number of folks last year. And so for the first time ever, we have now updated our current school year's demographics information. And what that means is your partner impact report, if you're an arts partner, now has those demographics flowing into that impact report. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, again, I'm just going to do a quick demo on this item. We're going to hop to, excuse me, I have too many tabs open. We're going to go back to chicago.artlookmap.com. And if you're a partner, the way you find your impact report is by finding your own profile. And so in this example, I'm going to use Intonation Music. And so once you find your organization, you can download your partner report. And essentially this shows your programmatic impact. So I'm going to download that now. It generates automatically based on this information you've listed here, your school partners. And from here, it's pretty much, sorry, I shouldn't say it's just about your school partners, but about all the information you've listed in your profile. And this is an automatically generated PDF that really gives information about your impact and reach, as well as about your underlying programs that you offer. And so here for this current school year, you can see there's this dashboard about network served, community areas served. If you've never seen it before, this is all, again, automatically generated. But the new section and the new updates we have is this section we've heard from many folks last year were zeros all around because that demographics information was not being uploaded for that current school year. And so this is the first time this report is for 22-23. We have uploaded this information. All of your impact reports should be filled out. And this is based on if you're listed at least one school partner. So the moment you add more school partners to your current school year's list, this again will just automatically generate and these numbers will automatically calculate. And we love to say throw these into any grant report or funder report that you're really writing. And just as a quick show, if you haven't seen this before, it also lists out the programs you offer, that information you input on Artlook, and then your reach in regards to schools, communities, and networks. And so we're super excited for that change as well. It seems like a smaller thing to suggested matches, but it's the first time we've ever done this. So super excited again. We just have two other smaller items we've implemented. So for partner programs, we heard from a few folks that they were having trouble putting a single grade level being served for a program. You were told like it was mandated that you had to put like first through third grade, and that is when you logged into the portal. So again, a very quick demonstration of that is if I were to go to this arts organization one more time, and under my profile and programs, when I'm adding a new program, you're now able to choose the same grade level, as in this program only serves one grade level. Used to, there would be an error message and you would be forced to choose two separate grade levels. So that's a very new change too. And finally, for the school side, we have improved our functionality of adding what's been called pending partners. And so, and then Laura, I do see your question. I will show that one more time at the end. So for the school portal, if you either did this through the survey or this is also what Crystal was mentioning, adding her arts organizational partners, and we'll also demonstrate this. We've now improved a bug or something that was a little annoying for schools for adding partners that weren't listed. And again, I'll do a quick demo here. So at Ingenuity, the School of Ingenuity, if you go to your profile, this was also in that school survey, you go to school partnerships, you're now able to add new partner. And what you had to do before, if you had a partner that was not listed, is you would enter the name here. Of course, there's still this drop down. So if I did 826 try to show up here, but occasionally you had a partner organization that was not listed in that drop down. And what would occur is you would be creating what we called a pending partner. Let me do that one more time. Here we go. And so, for example, if I click test one and create a pending partnership, what happened before was that you had to save each one every single time. You enter in test one, you couldn't add in test like 3 here without saving information separately. And so this has been fixed now. You can add as many pending partners as you want. at the same time, essentially, or very quickly one after another, and save, and it saves perfectly now. And so it's another seemingly small fix we've made, but it's feedback that we've heard from a few schools now trying to fill out that information. And so for Laura, let's show one more time where to find that partner impact report. And so a lot of people forget that it's not in the portal when you sign in. And so again, it's on the public facing page. I will go to chicago.artlookmap.com. You'll have to find your own profile. So under partners here, I will just do play in a book here. So you can choose which school year that you're looking into specifically. Your profile page, you can find any school year too. So here for playing a book, I see that you've toggled yes, which I'm so happy about. And right now we can look at the current school year. And so you have already listed partners, which is what you need to generate. But this is where that download partner report, that partner impact report lives. And so if you click that again, you can see that PDF. And as long as you're including information about your programs and partners for a given school year, there's also, for example, here, I'm going to go back to your page. You can also find a partner impact report for prior school years here. So for each school year, you have a different partner impact report that reflects that specific school year's demographics, the programs you listed for that specific school year, and partners for that, specific school year. And so that's where you can find that PDF. And again, on the public facing page, not when you sign in on the portal. All right, so happy to be able to help answer that, like one of these questions that come up. And these are the three also new features. Of course, suggested matches was huge too. So we really had a bunch of new items coming up in the last month. So for Jean, I do see a question now. And actually the next thing we have her to do or in the session is the question. So let's start answering these. Thank you for putting, you can either, once I answer this, you can unmute or start putting your questions into the chat. And so for Jean, I see that, can you please clarify adding another partner again? We serve non-CPS schools too. And so I will say artlook map is really geared only for CPS schools. And so the only schools that you can list are CPS, but I can show you again where you can add the CPS schools to. And so if you are an arts organization, you would click instead here. The different,
as well as charters, I just want to add in really quickly.
Yes, it is charters, contract schools in CPS district. And so here you would click school partnerships. I will not save my changes on that page. And you would click add new partner. And there would be this, you can't see the drop down, but if I were to look for Carnegie, I can find it and add that school. And then as Courtney has mentioned, we do have all the charter schools listed as well. Anything within that CPS school district, but nothing, for example, maybe in a different state or a non-Chicago public school district. And so here, for example, you just click add school and you would be asked to just choose a program type for that partnership. Awesome, thank you for that question. Does anyone have anything else they would like to ask about whether or not it's suggested matches or artlook in general? All right, well, we still have one more activity. I know we have 10 more minutes, so let's get to it. And I'll hand it off to Courtney. We have one FYI. We would have upcoming office hours. Courtney and I just have to figure out which date it is exactly, but stay tuned and you should receive an email or information about that.
Excellent. So we don't have a lot of time, like Angela said, but we thought it would be nice to just do some informal connection. We can take the next 10 minutes to do that. We know that this isn't always for everyone, and we understand it if you prefer not to participate. And we thank you for being here today and taking some time to learn a little bit more about how you can better connect with either schools or arts organizations. But for those of you who are feeling like you want to connect and meet some new folks, maybe talk about partnerships, please stick around and join us for just a few minutes. We promise we're not keeping you too long. We've thought about dividing the rooms here into arts disciplines. So arts partners, when we open the rooms, you'll just self-select into the discipline that speaks to you or that you offer. And schools, you're going to go ahead and select the arts discipline that you're most interested in right now, let's say. And you can hop around a little bit too if you'd like. But we just have some prompts here for you. You don't have to do this. You can Feel free to connect in whatever way you're feeling right now. But we do have name, pronouns, name of arts organization or school. For arts partners, you might want to talk about your program description and overview of the programs that you offer. For schools, you might want to talk about some of those arts interests and needs at your school right now. And maybe elevate, are you looking for new partnerships right now? And then maybe if you've already received some of those match notifications. So that's really it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open those rooms. And you can also hang out in here with us if you have questions. That's also fine as well. Let's just see how this works. Let's see where we land with numbers. So we have 15, 13, see. Okay. Okay, so all the rooms are open, so feel free to jump in. Once again, arts partners, arts organizations, select the discipline that aligns with the programs that you offer. And then schools, feel free to just select the arts discipline that's speaking to you in this moment.
Courtney, I'm having trouble finding where to access the breakout room.
Oh, okay. So if you go to the bottom of your screen and you click the more, the 3 dots, it should,
Right
and then
now,
you
I
click the,
just see captions.
oh, you only have captions. Is everyone not seeing the breakout room? No one's seeing the breakout rooms?
No.
Well then, let's try this over time.
Zoom, what's happening?
Should we
Let
try
me try-
closing all of them? and
Yeah,
then
I'm going to try
redoing
closing
it?
and reopening and see what happens. Okay. So you should be able to click at the bottom of the screen. So do you see breakout rooms now or not at all? Okay, well, why don't we just hang out in the
Yeah.
main room then, since we're a small bunch, and just do some intros. How does everyone feel about that? There's not a lot of people here. We're 10.
I'm
And I feel
wondering
like I
if
know
it's
a lot of
because
people.
either you're recording or because you're still presenting that we can't see the breakout
Oh.
rooms. I'm not totally sure if that's the case, but it might be.
Hasn't been the case in the past. It might just, I'm really not sure. I don't know why that's happening. I can try assigning. We can do something random if everyone prefers. Hi. Good to see your faces though.
I was gonna say, oh yeah, we can also, I think we're okay to hang here too. I feel like we don't have too many folks now. Too, if that's a little easier. No, we don't have too much time left.
Yeah, why don't we just do questions or anything that you want to elevate about matching? Kind of what are some of the challenges that you're having right now, maybe with finding partner matches? We did have a lot of folks leave. Do folks feel like, yeah, Leslie?
I'm not having problems. I haven't taken the next step from having a partner match just because I don't feel like I'm quite ready. But just feedback is that it's really helpful because it's like sometimes, you feel like you've got these programs and there's just so many schools. So even if the matches don't end up working out, it's somewhere to start. And so, getting a list of like, say, I don't know, maybe 7 I had, we could even narrow it down just by looking at where the schools were or what their needs might be to like 4. And then you have an opening with a school to say, oh, I found you,
Yeah.
and do you have an interest? So, these things take time.
Mhm.
And again, you never know if it's going to work out, but having just somewhere to start is really, it'll just be interesting, I think, from going from this to see where these go. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
how we're able to kind of take the next step and when it works out. So I
Definitely.
think it's going to be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you for that feedback, Leslie. And this is also the first iteration of matching that we're releasing, and we have plans to kind of make it even more sophisticated in the future. I don't know, Angela, if you want to talk about that a little bit. We were talking about it as like baby bear, mama bear, and papa bear matching.
So yeah, this is the first iteration. We're gonna also see how this goes. Like you said, Leslie, but that's super encouraging to hear. At least a first cut is helpful, and we are hoping that Courtney's been really trying to get arts organizations and schools to toggle that. Hopefully, that'll help narrow down that everyone that shows up on your list has actively toggled yes very recently. So we're really hoping this is a good first step towards who actually is interested in partnerships right now. But super happy to hear it, and we'd love to hear your feedback too as you start looking into your matches more. And then, sorry, Laura, did I see you unmute a little bit earlier?
You did. I was just going to say, I think this is a wonderful resource and really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So Leslie, did you receive matches already? You got them.
I have a contact here. So Steve got in touch with me last week as like a little test case. I don't know if you guys knew that, but anyway, so yes. And I think I was already toggled from a while ago. I don't really know, but I hadn't checked it. So after I realized who the matches were, I was able to like talk to my executive director and be like, look what happened. We have some matches. And we were both like, wow. And we were able to kind of narrow down some schools. Again, we haven't contacted them just because we have to figure some things out first. But yes, so I did get some matches through a friend, through someone I know. Yes.
Did anyone else get some matches already, or like receive the notification? Yes, Laura, awesome. Andrew, I saw you nodding a little.
Yeah, this is like crazy. Like there's a lot of them.
Initially, yes, because it's like we turned on the light,
I love it. It's like logging into Facebook for the first time in a couple years.
Right. Yeah. Like, wow, I'm so popular. Look at all the matches.
Yeah, but I mean, so this is really helpful for us too. We're transitioning there's a few new staff members coming on who are full-time, who have worked in our organization as teaching artists and have kind of been on the receiving end of partnerships. Like they see it when a lot of the groundwork has already been laid. And so like that's our process is pretty elaborate because it's designed to support year-over-year partnerships, but to be able to say like, okay, when we're developing new partnerships, here's your first step, is just to have it this clearly and this kind of narrowed down already is really helpful.
Seeing those reports is fantastic too. I didn't know that was a resource we had available to us.
Either.
Incredible.
That was awesome.
Great. Okay, we love to share it as much as we can. We do know a lot of arts partners actually, because I have to admit, it's not within your portal, and then they don't realize it's on the public facing page.
Yeah, we're going to release some more updates about that, I think, via newsletter pretty soon. Preparing something.
Quick question. Did you say that there was a spot to see on like our partner login about where matches are? Because I've gotten emails, but I've never seen them actually on the website.
I see. So if you log in, you should have that little bell icon, and hopefully if you've received an email, I would assume in the top right, which I can show very quickly maybe, that Bell should have the list. So it's not like a section I have to admit. It's pretty much like through notifications right now. Future possibilities, there would be like a devoted section to this.
Yeah,
but
okay, I see
it's
that
not
now.
Oh, good, okay.
Okay, great. Yep, thank you.
Yeah, and then if you click on them, they'll bring you to the profile pages of the respective school.
And all of those schools that you're receiving notifications about, they're also receiving those same notifications in their inboxes and on their profile.
We'll say we are at time, but this has been really nice to see your faces now. And this
Yeah.
sticking around. This is super nice. Like, Courtney, I don't know if you want to do any closing remarks, but we're super excited about this new feature, and it's been just a long time in the works. And Steve, or like Leslie, your brother's also obviously been very involved in this. So
Yeah.
appreciate all of you attending the session. I know it's 5:30. But we're so happy to hear your feedback and really want to keep improving this platform.
Yeah, send us a note too if you have any other ideas for what matching 3.0 or 2.0 could look like. And you're like, no, if we just tweaked it a little bit this way, it would be even more fabulous. Let us know, because once again, we're working on different iterations of the matching. It's just the first one.
All right.
Hey.
Thank you.
Thank
You all.
you.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good
Bye.
to see you guys.
Bye. Good to see you
Bye.
too.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, remove them too.
Yeah. Let me stop the recording.